Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 182 of the High Sensitivity Podcast. And thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we liked or played over the weekend, or watched or played over the weekend. My name is Barry, and I messed up the intro because Craig took too long to clap.
And my name is Craig. I took too long with the intro because I was trying to fit in as many stupid jokes as I could.
My name is also Craig. I was gonna go with welcome to spooky season, but now I don't even know. It's all over the place. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Everybody.
Yeah, yes. I guess that would make sense by the time this comes out. Yeah. So happy Halloween, everyone. Spooky season is upon us, and the news is also
spooky
here
news
this season. Spooky news. Do I have any particularly spooky news?
Not really.
Insomniac fixes the flag. Is pretty not spooky. Yeah. So they fixed the Cuban flag for the Puerto Rican one for Miles Morales. So it's a small one, but good on him.
Yeah.
We have Fortnite going back to Chapter 1 on November 3rd. I can't say I'm not interested.
Same.
I might have to get in for a couple warm-up games because it's going to be rough the first time we get in there. So should be interesting, and I'm excited to see us go back. Are any of you guys interested in maybe trying it?
For sure. My wife and I have like a sporadic thing where we'll play Fortnite every 3 or 4 weeks, check out the shop and all that. So like if you guys are interested, we could definitely make it a 4-person team. Get back into Fortnite.
I got pulled in with the no build.
Yeah.
Like when that came out, I was playing it quite a bit. I've kind of it's died off just because of the amount of games that have come out. But I'd 100% be interested to try going back to all the way to the beginning.
Yeah.
How long ago was that now?
Oh my God.
It has to
quite
be
a few years, right?
It was a different life. It was a different time.
It was.
Yeah, I can land at Tomato Town again.
Yeah. I think Fallout Boy released the single Uma Thurman probably, or maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. I'm trying to find a relevant time frame of how far back it is.
Speaking of battle royales, we have we have Apex Legends releasing a trailer for their new season, and finally, after many years, cross progression is finally coming to it. So what's going to happen to my account? I will log in just to see, just because they're going to look at mine and they're going to be like, "What did this man do? Like, what did he do to deserve this?" So I'm very excited to see what happens. The new Legend Conduit, I think, looks cool. Seems like a cooler version of Watson, who's one of my favorites. So I will absolutely, with all of these games that have come out now, it feels like now's not the time to try and get back into those battle royales. But they're doing some interesting stuff, and I might have to.
Yeah, looks interesting, for sure. The last season, the one they're on now, was just such a bummer. I didn't even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even get to use my cool trail. I was like whatever you call that, master or whatever.
Yeah,
I grinded all the way. Didn't even get to use it because the season sucked.
Oh, jeez.
Sadness overcomes us. And speaking of sadness, that's really the only way to transition into this one. Matthew Perry has died. Happened earlier this week. It doesn't seem to be any foul play, according to early reports. But he has... Friends superstar is what I will say is Chandler Bing, also known for doing other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Has had a lifelong of alcohol, substance abuse, and things like that since after Friends. He has released a memoir since then, so that's definitely going to be buying up all the shelves lately. But just kind of a really sudden one in my eyes. I actually didn't know he was going through all of that stuff after Friends. I may have been too young to know he was going through it, but the acting world loses a pretty great actor and one of the most probably the most iconic show of all time so far.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Hopefully his family's all right. Was he married? Did he have kids?
I actually don't know that about him. I know more about his the substance abuse after Friends.
I don't think he was married or had kids. Let me check. That's a good question.
While you're doing that, so I got introduced to Friends in my current relationship / marriage. My wife finally got me to watch Friends. I was a long time the Seinfeld guy that wouldn't touch Friends because they were definitely competing for everybody's
Because
love in the
Seinfeld was
90s.
superior. Yeah, that's what
It
you were
is.
thinking.
I won't say, I don't know if I'll say it on camera. There's enough Friends people out there to kill me.
You can say it. It's superior.
To me, it was.
It's close.
But I think they're two totally different shows, and you can like both now that I've seen it. I'm a Friends fan now. I'm not the die-hard fan, but Chandler Bing was and always will be my favorite character on that show. My humor definitely appeals to him, and his sarcasm was one of the most legendary sarcasms on television. I snagged, I don't know how, but I got my wife, and it doesn't matter if I say this on camera because I'm giving it to her tonight, but I got my wife the Friends Lego set, specifically the Central Perk one. Found it on Amazon because like I was like, that's crazy, like, but he will be missed. He will be missed
For sure. I don't see any kids.
Okay, well,
So
that's kind of sad. Now I'm even more sad for him. Let's see here. It's always weird to transition from these types of stories, but God rest his soul. I guess I'll just flat out go into the next one, steamroll into that. Internet connection is required for the optional hard drive disk attachment for the new PS5 Slim. A very interesting thing that you'll have to do. I guess why is it an internet connection to verify that it is like a genuine hard drive reader? Like, as someone who repairs Apple phones, for me, like it kind of makes sense that you need that.
Drivers, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like drivers or something to add on. It's a little strange, and a lot of people will be like, "Why do I need that?" There's a lot more than just goes into it. Each disc of like hard disk copy game that you buy has like a number that goes through authorization, so that they know it's not like a pirated copy, things like that. So just keep that in mind as to probably why you need an internet connection for it. But I do like to see that it's like an option that you can add to gaming consoles now. I know we've known about this disc for a while, but the internet definitely was like, why do I need internet for this? Kind of
could potentially cause a problem years down the road if it's not supported anymore. And and it's a retro console. Like, can you not use it anymore at that point?
Or is this one of those things where they release it with that particular I guess not a mulligan, but I guess some of us would call it shortcoming, but do they just fix that in a year and a half with production and release one without it? Because that happens too. Well, like they'll drop it and a bunch of people will buy it, and then they take in the feedback and then they make a better one in like a year and a half or 2 years,
True.
Disk Drive Pro.
Don't give them ideas.
Yeah.
And probably the only person that's going to talk about this news, we do have a Kingdom Hearts Missing Link trailer.
Let's
it is
go.
A trailer for the iOS and mobile game that is Kingdom Hearts related. Coming out 2024. I signed up for the beta, even though I probably won't get picked for it. But Kingdom Hearts is alive and well. We haven't forgotten about Kingdom Hearts. It's been a while, but we haven't forgotten.
Gonna have to brush up on the lore.
They do it for you, Barry. You're the sole reason.
Yeah. They make enough money off of me. I guess that's what they will do.
They're like, that guy over there, he'll buy whatever we put out. Let's keep it going.
You put Kingdom Hearts name on it, you're gonna get some money out of me. That's for sure.
It's true.
Sora, but not that chair, not the chair, and not that chair, not the chess thing. That's not chess. Let's make that clear. It's not chess. It is a.
You thought about it though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Once I saw that price, no.
Okay.
You did.
No, if it was like maybe $100, I'd think about it. But the price at like the Kingdom Hearts tax that comes with some of these products is nuts. But, nevertheless, I'll hand it off to you guys for whatever other news stories you guys have.
I wanted to talk about the Nintendo patent that everybody found this week. I thought this was interesting. If I had to guess, I'm going to say this is not the Switch 2, but potentially what could be past the Switch 2. Something interesting. It kind of resembles a 2DS, if you remember that. The flat 2DS. Big part about it being that for multiplayer purposes, the screens can detach from themselves. So you can play with multiple people on separate screens. And also it folds closed with the top part still being touch sensitive. or maybe the bottom, one or the other. Interesting, kind of going back to a DS design for a potential new Switch or whatever they decide to do. I think the detaching part is what interests me the most, but also those hinges better be sturdy
Yes.
because those will break quick taking them apart. But I think it looks pretty cool. It's a cool idea. They're always trying to innovate on that kind of stuff, which I appreciate.
Yeah. They should take some lessons from Samsung with the Z folds and all that and the Z Flip. They definitely learned about hinges real quick.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I'm just excited that like the DS was a big part of my childhood gaming,
Mm-hmm.
and if they would come out with some better version of that plays the games better, plays on two separate screens, folds and everything like that, I'd love to see that. I think it
Yeah.
would be pretty cool. So
Yeah, most definitely.
hopefully they decide to do that or something like it.
For all the issues we give Nintendo on slacking behind on processing power and graphics, they're consistently on the forefront on coming up with new ideas. So
Oh yeah.
I will give them that. They're far ahead of Microsoft and Sony there. Some spooky news because we needed some.
Spook.
Barbarian, the movie Barbarian, is getting a game adaptation.
What?
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
on.
Looks like by the people who have done like the Friday the 13th game, so it might be one of those type of games, maybe. I would be slightly interested if it's not that type of game because I don't like those type of games. Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, I just can't get into them. So if it's like a normal story driven horror game, I would be interested.
Yes.
Um, but if it's not, eh, we'll see.
I agree. I agree because the best part about Barbarian was the tight spaces, tight corridor portion of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the humor, Justin Long was hilarious in that.
Yep.
But like you put that aside, it was all about like just the catacomb like area within slash beneath the house. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Last thing I have here, because I didn't have a whole lot, but I did want to bring this up. We're getting near the end of the year. We've had a lot of good games come out this year. And I'm not the only person I saw. I think Kotaku had an article as well about where does this year stand in the all-time greats for years of gaming? Because if we go back and look, there's a lot of big
Ooh.
games that came out this year.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it, and what I wanted to do is get your guys' impressions or what you think where it stands. I'm going to give you what is considered the top 5 years for gaming,
Okay,
and
cool. You can
we'll see where you think this year lands, if it's in the top 5 at all. So number 5, I'm gonna start on the bottom. 2013, notable releases that year: GTA 5, The Last of Us, Bioshock Infinite, Final Fantasy 14, Far Cry 3, Assassin's Creed 4. There was also the first Tomb Raider, like the reboot
yeah.
Tomb Raider, was in there as well. We also got Metal Gear Rising Revengeance that year.
Okay.
So that's 2013. Number 4, 2001, Halo, Grand Theft Auto 3, Super Smash Melee, Metal Gear Solid 2, Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy 10.
May I stop you?
Yep.
It is this. Right now, just to keep like a track on things.
Yeah.
He's
I
writing it
think.
down.
Yeah, no, I think this year is ahead of the first one, the first year you
I
said,
agree.
but I can't agree. I can't necessarily agree with this one. I'm still thinking about the second one. So.
All right.
Right. Yeah. Right now, for me, it is above those two. But yet
Okay.
again, like
Oh, okay.
It's
right.
interesting.
I will say, like for me, it was like the last year was what 2001 or 2002 is what you just
Yeah.
said.
2001.
Like I was 6.
Yeah, but if you think about, that was the first Halo, that was the first open world Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
First
Those
Devil May
are
Cry.
first Devil May Cry, the huge follow up to Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 2. I mean, that's a good year. And also Super Smash Bros. Melee. Like,
I'll
killer.
let you continue. I'll let you
All right.
continue.
Number 3, 2007. We had that year Portal, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Halo 3, Rock Band, Super Mario Galaxy. They have on here, and I agree, this is a big one: World of Warcraft Burning Crusade. That was a big expansion. Team Fortress 2. And I think that is the majority. Hold on.
Those are big games.
The first
big
Mass
games.
Effect, the first
Okay.
Uncharted, and the first BioShock, and also Crisis
Oh
that
my
year.
god.
That was a big year. Number 2. This one hits close to home for me. 1998. All right,
I already know.
here
Go
we
ahead.
go. Metal Gear Solid, Half-Life, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Fallout 2, Resident Evil 2, StarCraft. What else we got? Tekken 3, Banjo-Kazooie, Pokemon. Yeah,
Like red blue?
Red Blue. Pokemon. Okay, that's a big year. Number 1, and I do agree because 1998 was a big year. Number 1, 2004. Halo 2, Half-Life 2, Metroid Prime 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, World of Warcraft, GTA San Andreas, Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2. And then I just want you to listen to this for a second. I'm going to name some games. You ready? Counter-Strike Source, Killzone, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal, EverQuest 2, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, Halo 2, Half-Life 2, Jack 3, Need for Speed Underground 2, Metroid Prime 2, Vampire the Masquerade, Spider-Man 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, World of Warcraft. All those games came out in November of 2004.
Oh my god.
Every single one of them.
Broke
Luckily,
Bember.
yeah, I was
Broke
about to say,
Bember.
yeah. Luckily,
That's insane.
Yeah.
Not to mention the other ones that didn't make the cut from that year: Ninja Gaiden, The Sims 2, Far Cry, Katamari Damacy, Burnout 3, and ESPN NFL 2K5, which is considerably one of the best football games of all time.
I don't
So, I mean, hands down, 2004, I don't think will ever be touched. I don't. Now, if I would say, me personally, I do think this year is in the top 5.
Yeah, I would too.
Most definitely.
I
would
just
put it third. I'm putting it behind 98 and 2004.
Yeah. There's just too many games that I look back on this year that I'm like, man, there are some phenomenal games this year. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and you know what?
Good.
Like the interesting thing is, wow, like those games that you were listing specifically in 04 and 98 have essentially defined a lot of the mechanics that made this such a good year for in terms of 2023. So like, I don't know. Like I could see objectively if we actually overthought it or even thought a little bit more about it, maybe you could even sneak it in one. But like I can't put it past those two at least. So it's third for me.
I think it's better than 2001, which was Halo,
definitely.
Grand Theft Auto 3, Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy 10. I think we've had a better year than that because I think Final Fantasy 16 is better than 10. Personally,
Agreed.
if we're matching them up.
Ooh, let's have that soon too. Let's have one of those rankings, a Final Fantasy ranking.
But yeah, I think I'd put it at probably 4. I don't think it's better than 2007. Portal, Call of Duty 4, Halo 3, World of Warcraft, Rock Band, Mario Galaxy.
That one's
that's pretty wild.
See, that's tough for me. And like, I don't know. I'm putting it in front of 2007.
Okay.
Was the first year that Rock Band came out not also the same year that Guitar Hero 3 came out as well?
I
Okay, I was going to say, like,
they might have been a year apart if that.
Halo 3, Halo 2 was very big for me, but I think Halo 3 was even bigger because that was the first time you were really, like, you played Halo 2 on Xbox Live, but Halo 3, man, you played it online. So that was a huge part of my Halo 3 was college for me, which makes me feel old, but yeah. Crazy. But regardless, I don't think people understand how good of a year we're having this year.
Yeah.
It's insane. And in the beginning of the year, I really thought it was going to be a bad year.
Yeah.
And
little did we know.
Little did we know. But that's all I got. I'll throw it over to you, Craig.
I, I was just gonna make some bad joke about Harry Potter being Game of the Year, but I can't get over
I
that.
know.
But like we were so young then, in
We were
February,
so young.
we were just like, man, it's gonna be hard to top this game.
It's still a good game.
Oh,
Yeah, it's still great.
it's
Still
still a,
great.
still a great
It's
game.
gonna get buried though,
It is.
unfortunately.
I wanted to maybe start off with Friday Night at Freddy's, setting a
Yeah,
benchmark over the weekend. To 78 million in the North America box office, 130 million globally, making
it's a
it
lot of kids.
the second highest grossing or successful video game adaptation in the first 3 days or the first weekend of its release. Obviously behind Super Mario.
Yeah,
Mhm.
keep in
Uh,
mind this was also out
Yeah,
on Peacock as well,
correct.
same day.
yeah, yeah,
So
Hmm.
and that's
they
it. Yeah, go
probably
ahead.
missed out on a lot of money. That's
They
all.
did. No, Barry, that's like a
Hmm.
fantastic point, and I wanted to bring it up because that was actually where I was transitioning to. Is like I don't know. Friday Night at Freddy's is not for me.
Five
However,
Night at Freddy's.
Friday
You
night.
don't have to add the Friday.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Freddy Cougar's night at Five Guys is not for me. But
Fair enough.
but I think that I have slept, as maybe some other people did, on the fan base that surrounds that game.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to that, and like I understand that, like, it's a movie that comes out days before Halloween. It's
Mhm.
definitely one that you could take your, like, at least depending on the parent that you are, like, that you consider yourself, you could take your kids to, and how old your kids are, more so. But I don't know, I thought that it had a fan base, but I was quite surprised at the amount of money it made in the first 3 days in the box office. I don't know if that stunned either of you.
No, because I have a kid, and that was such a big part of like her first entrance into like scary games
Yeah.
was Five Nights at Freddy's. If I didn't have a kid, I probably would not have even had this on my radar. But she's been talking about it for over a year, so
Are
the
we
fandom's out there.
are we talking about scary Roblox popularity, like the scary
Kind of,
version of Roblox
kind of,
in
yeah.
terms of kid? Okay.
I mean, I've played the games, a bunch of them. They're fine. I don't think they're terrible games. They're not really like my favorite choice of game if I'm gonna play a horror game. They're fine.
Yeah. I mean, good for them. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if Craig's going to announce it in his movies that he's
I
watched over the
am.
weekend. Perfect. I need the 411 when you do that. Where did you go to theater or did you
No,
peacock it?
my daughter wanted to go. I told her there's no reason we need to go if it's streaming at home. Like I refuse
That's
to pay
fair.
for a movie I can watch at home for free.
Especially day of.
Yeah,
Especially day of.
yeah. There's
Like,
no reason. They did hurt themselves there. I don't know how much money they got from Peacock. Hopefully it's enough, but apparently people still went to the theater to see it. I mean, it's kind of like Taylor Swift, right? It's your chance to dress up like one of the animatronics and go to the movie theater, I guess.
yeah, that's true. Um, and then the only other one I had was the GTA 6 leak,
Hmm.
suggesting that the game is coming to Switch or to be supported on Switch.
Better not.
Yeah.
Now we know why it's taking so long because they
Yeah.
have to figure out how to
Yes.
make the Switch not blow up instantly when we put it into the put the cartridge into the system.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was surprised because currently it's still like the leak. It's still unknown if it's coming to PC or not. I know we normally have to wait after the console to have a PC port, but
Yep.
suggesting, or at least the rumor mill stating that it's going to be supported by Switch is pretty funny to me. I don't know. Like, by the time it comes out, who knows where the Switch technology will be by that point. That's also something to take note of. Um, Also, Netflix wants to put their hand in that game as well
Of
on their
course.
gaming platform, GTA 6 on the Netflix gaming platform, um, which is an interesting move. I guess not really when you think of what Netflix puts out in terms of movies. They don't care about they put everything out.
They got
There's
games
things
too.
for everybody. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny to see it maybe have that Switch availability when it releases.
I hope not. I don't need a dumb down for the Switch. Sorry, Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
If you want to give it to them a couple years down the road, go for it.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Do the Harry Potter thing, release it, and then promise that the Switch one is coming out in like less than a year, and then delay
That's
it.
this month. That's November.
It is.
November
It's
is supposed to be coming out. Yeah.
Those 2 people waiting to play it on Switch are super happy.
One of them is my mom.
Really? I thought you got her a system or to play it or something.
Yeah, she does have a PS5 to play it on.
But
it's just also a matter of like she plays on the Switch more.
Okay.
So, and maybe she's also familiar with the control system. Like I can't tell you how many times she's called me and be like, "Hey, I gotta figure out how to do this spell thing," and it's like, "Okay, I'll try to help you."
I wonder if you'll be able to do the spells with your Joy-Con.
Oh,
that would be a good move.
That'd be the next. That's the next thing. That's the next
game
thing
changing.
there.
I don't know if they're gonna just straight port it over, if they're gonna think of something like that, but that would be cool because you do it anyway in the game. You have to trace it. Like, let me just.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Also, shout out to Barry's mom because I've gotten lots of calls from my parents for different reasons. It's never been for help in a video game,
No,
and I kind of wish I would get a call randomly. I would take that call, Mom, Dad, if you're listening.
All right, let's get into games this week then. Speaking of parents and gaming, for me, it's Spider-Man 2. I've put the hours into Spider-Man 2 this week. I'm almost done it. I'll probably be done with it in a day or two here. But these will be my full impressions with no spoilers, of course.
I'm almost done with Super Mario Wonder. I'm getting there. And Barry and I, we talked real quick before we started recording, but my eyeballs hurt, but I did finish Alan Wake 2. I got it done. I got it done. My eyes hurt, but I did it.
Craig,
and I have thoughts on that.
How long is that game?
Yeah.
Like 25-ish.
He pulled one of those, like, what I did with The Last of Us 2 and God of War Ragnarok. Like, you just sit in the couch.
Listen.
For days.
I did it with
hurts.
Yep. I did it with the first Alan Wake. Now, that game was shorter. I think that game's like 10 to 15. But I beat Alan Wake in 2 days when that came out. And I was like determined. I put Spider-Man to the side. But yeah, I was like, you know what? It came out, what was that, Friday?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get this thing done because there's too many other games, but I really want to play Alan Wake. But I have a lot of thoughts on that.
All right. Well, I got my 19 inches and I beat Spider-Man 2 days ago. So I can give a non-spoiler, and then when we do the full spoiler one, I would love spoiler talk on it. And I, embarrassingly, in reference to Craig, only have 3 hours into Alan Wake 2.
That's fair.
So I can give 3 hours of take.
I plan on putting all my effort into beating Spider-Man this week now. Hopefully.
You know, this week shows a lot of like congruency on the podcast here because Craig's still in the beginning. I'm toward the end. You're finished Spider-Man. I haven't started Alan Wake 2. Plan on it. After beating 1. We have Craig who's in the middle of Alan Wake 2, and then
he's not even in the middle. Finished. He's at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, well I'm just look. I'm just trying to. It's all.
Yeah.
We are. It is cool though.
Yeah.
I had to make that decision, and I decided to sacrifice Spider-Man, so it's fine.
Hopefully it was worth it. We're going to find out here in a second. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want us to talk about Spider-Man first?
I don't care. Whatever you guys want to do. I am curious what you guys think about Spider-Man because
all right,
everybody's saying Game of the Year, right?
Yeah, so here, we'll talk about Spider-Man here. So here's the thing. I am a very emotional person. You make me cry during a video game or a movie, I'm probably going to rate it high on my list. There is a side mission with Miles Morales in this game. I started tearing up.
Me too. I put it on my moments of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the old guy?
Same.
No, I'm not talking about the old guy. You can do that. You can do that with either of those two. But there's 2 old men. Just so you know, there's 2. There's a second old man thing.
Well, the first one got me.
Very good. Yeah.
Mm. Continue.
But no, I absolutely agree with those. Those are really good moments, and they're really sweet too. But it's a particular side quest mission that reminded me so much of my childhood and me and my mom's relationship. Like I started tearing up, and my roommate's like, "What's wrong with you? Why why is this of all things making you tear up?" Um, Regardless, Spider-Man 2 is definitely it. It is the closest thing I've ever gotten in a Spider-Man game to Spider-Man 2 on PS2. Like, I still have fond memories of swinging around in Spider-Man 2 for the fun of it and just beating up on crimes randomly because they showed up. This game is more fun to swing than ever before. There's more stuff to do than ever before. What I really like about what Spider-Man 2 does this year is it tells its story at its pace and gives you its side quests at its own pace. It's not like in, let's say, for example, Assassin's Creed games with Odyssey and Valhalla, where in the first 5 minutes you're bombarded with at least 60 to 80 hours of side quests.
Yep.
You start off slow. There are a couple beginner ones. You could get through them all before getting to another one and then go to another one. It's really all how you want to tackle the game. And I love that steady progression of more stuff to do instead of throwing it all at you at once. Um, like when it comes to combat, I'll completely admit it is a lot of the same there. The parry mechanic I use sometimes. I use it when I absolutely have to. I find myself more panic dodging
Yep.
uh, a lot of the times and not doing the parry just because I see the yellow and then it takes my brain a second to realize, oh, this is a parry, not a dodge and get out of the way. So you end up getting hit. Um, I die more in this game than in other Spider-Man games. That's for sure.
Yep.
A little bit harder, and enemy variety gets really insane toward the end game, which I really enjoy.
Yup.
Uh, I'll let you talk. I'll let you, Craig, talk about it. I won't take all the talking points here. I
Oh no,
tend
you're
to go
good.
on
No,
rants sometimes.
no, you're good. It's like you said a lot of things that were on my mind and what I was thinking. Enemy variety and difficulty was very interesting as you progress the game, and that's something that I kind of really liked. Um, the story, I think, went at a nice pace. I think Spider-Man side quests did what Final Fantasy 16 kind of did, but more successfully with the content of said side quest. Because like in 16, you would finish a mission, then a couple would be available, except for the end. We all know that game.
Yeah,
The hour and a half of side missions to close things out. But there's a nice progression where you don't feel inundated with anything at all. Like you don't feel inundated with crimes. You don't feel inundated with collectibles. You don't feel inundated with side quests. You got a nice 40-minute break. The game even like throws stuff at you like, hey, maybe I should just see if anybody needs help before Mary Jane calls me back. And they're like, go do it real quick. And then you'll get like a phone call with the next main mission in like 5 minutes to 10 minutes of gameplay. The mobility is amazing. It just kind of ups it. What I like that they do is they keep introducing new abilities throughout the game. And like when you think they're going to stop, they keep doing it. And they kind of integrate it into the story, I think, in an organic way. Um, it gets crazy, and it's just kind of nice. I can't wait till we talk about the spoiler or have the spoiler point because there's definitely some lore slash comic things that I think you guys may know a little bit more than me. So we could talk about how they introduced it into this game. This is my first real experience with Craven or remembering. I don't remember Craven's presence a lot in the animated series that I saw,
I don't
and
think he was in it very much, was he?
I don't
I don't
believe so.
know.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a new guy to me, and it's not a spoiler. Everybody knows he's in it if you've watched the trailer, the upon trailers that they showed prior to the game. But like, I like his presence throughout the game, and I don't know. It's just from the beginning moments until the very end, I felt like I was entertained, engrossed, and committed to both of them, to Miles and to Peter. Both of their struggles, what they were able to get over, um, and the people involved in their lives. Gangi, like Mary Jane, just everybody who's kind of around them and kind of like living it with them just without superpowers. So the other thing that I think this game does that I'll say, I think this game represents New York pretty well. Now, for the people who live in NYC or spent some years in NYC, I'm not talking about like blueprint wise. I'm talking about the look and feel. And a lot of my childhood was in New York City, specifically Queens, where I went frequently for Thanksgiving and Christmases and things like that. So it was really kind of interesting to see their adaptation of Queens. But I think that they did a good job kind of making it feel like a city that you're protecting and that it had a heartbeat. And it's something that I think they were able to really execute, which made you play more. I couldn't put that thing down. My wife couldn't put it down. So I think it's a fantastic game. Combat is fine. Like you were saying, Barry, there's definitely a lot of things that they brought from the other games that were successful, and then they kind of just up the ante in certain aspects as they need to. I was completely okay with the combat. I never felt like I was ever too powerful for really anything I was fighting, which I think is not a Souls-like aspect, but it felt like if we were making a dish and they were adding different spices and stuff, it's almost kind of like they maybe like knocked a spice and it spilled some into the of like Souls-like, because I mean there were some tough things, man, and
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are amateur gamers, so like so it's a it's a really good adaptation. I see why it's on people's game of the year list. It is on mine. I'm still just moving it around in the fives and the tens.
Things will start to form here in November, so
You
it'll
don't
Yes.
be
from the amount that I've played, because I probably played like maybe 5-ish hours so far. I You guys are talking about like the side quests and stuff. I feel like from what I've played so far, it'll be like here's the main mission, and on my way I get distracted by like 15 things consistently. And not in a bad way, but like I'm like, all right, I'm swinging. I'm like, oh, there's a piece of Sandman's thing I gotta go get. Let me go get that real quick since it's right here. Oh, there's a crime. Oh, there's a prowler thing. Let me go do that real quick since I'm miles. Let me go take this photograph real quick. Like, I don't know. There was a point where I was just like, I have to stop and start doing these main missions because it was not overwhelming, but I was just like constantly getting distracted every time I fly through somewhere. And obviously, once you clear them out, there's going to be less of them. But I was almost at the beginning like a little overwhelmed.
What I'll tell you is that there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
There's definitely plenty of time. They tried it. They introduced more side quests, but at a nice rhythm.
Okay.
I think understanding that you're trying to get them done slowly,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the course of the game. Um, it took me 28 hours to do everything.
Okay.
Um, and that includes the main side missions that they provide, unlock all the suits. I'm going to also tell you there's going to be a certain point mid to end game where you're going to be so far up the skill tree that you're just going to let crimes happen and not stop all of them. Like, like
Yeah.
that's
yes,
what,
yes.
like that's where
Like,
I'm
oh,
at.
you don't need me anymore.
I'm swinging past crimes. I'm talking about crimes within like less than a kilometer of like the actual main mission I'm swinging to. Like I'm just like, all right, just be safe. Just be safe down there. Like
Yep.
you'll start to
I
do.
will say that the crimes do have a way of being close to like a spider bot that you may be trying to find, and those things can be very difficult
Mhm.
considering that you have to be close to them in order for them to start pinging. It's not like an icon on the map. So
Yeah.
doing those crimes, I feel like they reward you enough to where it's I'm doing a crime, I'm having trouble finding the spider bot, a crime eventually populates near it, and if you as long as you're listening for it and see it, it'll help you. So I
Yeah.
feel like everything kind of rolls into one another. And what I'll tell you, Craig, is the beginning of the game, I started out always doing like the side quests first and then doing
Yeah.
main stuff later. There is a point where the story for me got engrossing enough where I'm just story, story, story.
Yeah.
Give me more, give me more, give me more. Um, in a way, and once we all finish it and do the spoiler cast on it, I don't know if it's a decision I'm going to regret or if it's a decision that maybe Insomniac I really like warned you before you get too far into the story.
Yeah. I do
And
know that there's a point they tell you, right? That like, hey, from this point on, you're not going to be
There
able to
is.
go back. So
There
you're
is.
going to want to do stuff then. And I don't hate the side stuff. Like it takes like a minute to do some of the
yeah,
side
yeah,
stuff. I do
Literally.
think like I did the like there's a side mission with Miles' school, right? There's like 3 or 4 missions there.
Mhm.
That was a little long for me, but it was interesting. Like
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
oh, this is kind of cool. And then you get to the last mission and it's like, hey, swing around and take pictures, but they don't tell you where to take the pictures. And
Yeah, those ones took me a little bit.
I was
Those
swinging
ones took
around
me a
for
little
like
bit.
15 minutes, be like, where, like that stuff. I'm like, okay, I get it. Some of it, I haven't had anything where I'm like, this is dumb. Like I've enjoyed all the side stuff. I think they're entertaining, and they don't overstay their welcome except for that photo section. So it's not
That
like
was
it's
the only
terrible.
one I ever got annoyed with too. So
Yeah,
I agree with
That
you on that.
was.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
was.
and like
Yeah.
getting the like the pieces of Sandman that takes like a minute. You just clear them out and you're on your way. So I don't hate it. It's just I'm just constantly getting distracted. I'm like, oh my god, I just want to go, but my
Yeah.
brain won't let me.
There is one I'll say, and like I agree with the both of you on that. Finding that esports picture, like it was
Oh
annoying
my
as heck.
god.
It was like more.
For me it was Drone Club.
Yep.
I had
Yep.
such a
Yeah.
hard time finding the Drone Club.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like they're outside, right? It's a drone club.
And
Yeah.
no hints. Like they give you no hints. Oh my god.
Um, but the last thing I'll say, and one is just a suggestion, is just make sure, like for me, there was a big one of the ones that I was worried about finishing because I thought that I like missed a step or that I went too far in the game is make sure to finish the flame one because there's not a lot of those,
Yeah.
and it's freaking. Did you already finish it, Barry?
I did, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty rewarding for
Yeah.
what you do. That yeah,
Okay.
so, but I don't know. They do throw that mile school one in there, and it's definitely pretty needy of a side
Yeah,
quest.
it
Yeah,
really is.
it is pretty
But there
needy.
isn't a lot of them.
Yeah, there
It's
isn't.
just getting those done and you're good.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, Spider-Man 2. We both of us love it. I have a feeling Craig will love it as
Oh, I
well.
love what I've played so far, for
And
sure.
it is definitely firmly like I've already like if anything is to go by previous what happens on the podcast here makes me cry, it's number 1. We'll see. Encanto made me cry, number 1. This game will be up there as well.
Yeah,
So
Yeah. If I may say one last thing, Insomniac are incredible.
they are.
They tell a damn good story, and
Yep.
once hearing that they essentially were finishing Spider-Man 2 and that it's just essentially them going to Wolverine to like continue the production on that game. I can't imagine what the
Yep.
Wolverine game is going to be like cuz you can't
Same
you can
universe.
yeah, and you can say a lot of things about Insomniac. You can't say too many negative things about Insomniac cuz they put out a good product, but like they story it up, man. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do with Wolverine.
Yeah,
So,
like what's mobility look like for Wolverine? Motorcycle?
yeah.
Like
it'd have to be like GTA 6, like a
yeah,
GTA
yeah.
game
Yeah,
almost.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would.
Unless they put it in a smaller area, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like more densely populated where you don't need to be moving around as fast. But coming from Spider-Man, we're all going to be like, all right, how are we getting around this world you're making? And it's
Yeah, right.
Wolverine. I don't know. I'm sure they'll think of something cool. I'm excited
Yeah.
for Wolverine.
Yeah. I don't know if we're getting X-Force Wolverine or what, but any Wolverine. Let's go.
I'll take any Wolverine, honestly.
But speaking of supernatural
Yes.
beings,
Alan Wake. First of all, let me just say this too. I hope people don't forget about Super Mario Wonder because that's one of the best 2D Mario games I've ever played. And I feel like it's going to get lost. I'm trying to keep it in my mind when it comes top 10 end of the year. I don't know if it's going to make it in there, but like they do some crazy stuff with some of those levels that I did not see coming with the flowers and changing the levels. It's insane. I just hopefully people don't forget about that game. It's not going to get nominated for game of the year anywhere, but I think it deserves to get mentioned at least. Um, Alan Wake 2. I was writing down stuff the whole time I was playing because I didn't want to forget things. Um, I will say this about Alan Wake. I played about 25 hours. There's quite a few things I didn't collect or do all of because I was like, I could, but then I'd be at like 35 and maybe There is no New Game Plus yet. They said it's coming, so maybe that's a New Game Plus thing for me to go back through. I will say Alan Wake 2. Everybody knows Alan Wake is like one of my favorite games of all time, for sure, right? So I have high expectations. Alan Wake 2 is one of the best games I've ever played in my life.
There it is. There it is,
Ever.
folks. We now have it. We have it.
Ever. Here's the thing. The first thing I can suggest is if you're going to play this game, you don't have to, but I highly recommend not only do you play the original Alan Wake, but you also play Control. Because they are so heavily intertwined in this game that you could play this game and be fine. But there's the amount of times I've played playing this game where I'm like, oh my God. And they're just pulling all this stuff into a single universe is insane. It's not, there's no direct ties to their other games, which would be like Max Payne and Quantum Break.
I thought there was a connection.
There isn't.
Into Quantum. Oh, okay.
What they've done is the actor who was the main character in Quantum Break is in the game. He's just a different character.
Okay. Gotcha.
And obviously the actor for Max Payne is also in this game as well, but he's not Max Payne. He's a different character. But Control is 100% involved in this game. It's heavily mentioned, and there's a big correlation between the two. There's characters from Control that are directly in this game. And vice versa. They you'll play this game and you're like, oh my God, I remember that from Control. That's what that meant. Crazy. Couple things. I lost count how many times playing this game that I could not tell if it was real or if I was looking at a CGI character or a real character. So many times. I'm just like, oh my God, the way they layer like FMVs in the game as you're playing, or seamlessly go from like a character, CGI character, and switch to the actual actor and then back. And you're just like, I can't even tell anymore. The lighting, I was like, I can't tell. You have Alan Wake and the other character, Saga. Both have the ability to press like the select button. For Saga, you go to her mind place. For Alan Wake, you're going to the writer's room. But it's a separate area that is instantaneous. When you hit that button, you're there. And you do a lot of work in there. With Saga, since she's a FBI agent, you're going in there and you're taking all the information that you've gathered in the world, all the facts, and you're going to your board and you're pinning it with red lines to figure out what's going on. So you just have like probably 10 different boards you're working on, and you're taking evidence and being like, boom, this connects here, this connects here, this connects here, and it all works flawlessly. To me, that was the coolest thing. I don't know how they did it, how they seamlessly combine the two, so it's instantaneous, no load screens, but it's insane. I've also never had a game from the time I start to the game to the time I end the game have me on that consistent, uneasy edge that does not stop the whole time you're playing it. It's just a very weird, is something going to get me feeling that literally never goes away, ever, the whole game. I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I need a break. It's done very well. The story, to me, I love the story. I think people are going to some people might say it's a little confusing, and it is. The first Alan Wake was confusing, but when you've played a bunch of Remedy games and you know their style, it all makes sense. When you get to the end, it's all going to wrap itself around, and you're going to be like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. Like, my mind has been twisted like 18 different ways playing this game, because you think you know what's going on, and then they twist it, and then it goes a different way, and then you think you have that figured out, and then it goes this way. It's wild. There's some moments in here. I have two moments that I have for moment of the year specifically from this game. I don't want to give anything away, but one is like out of control. Like, you don't see it coming. It's not scary, but like, I was just like, what are they doing? And then it starts and I was like, no way. The other one was, I don't want to say it's not to the level of like the baby in Resident Evil 8, but it's close. It's close. And it kind of like, not like, I won't give anything away, but there's a Cynthia is her name, and when you get to a certain point in the game, you're looking for Cynthia. She's an older lady, and you're trying to find her. And it has to do with like continuously looking for the Cynthia, culminates in a boss battle, but it's just the most uneasy, I don't want to go there feelings. Same thing we had with the baby in Resident Evil 8. You're just like, I don't want to go in there. Please don't make me go in there.
Craig,
Yeah.
Craig, I need you to tell me 100% that that's true because I remember that baby part, and that was
It's
such an uneasy
oh
feeling.
yeah. This whole game makes me feel uneasy. And like, but the thing is like, this game is not Resident Evil. It's not. Like Alan Wake has never been Resident Evil. It's been atmosphere, walking through the woods in the dark. It's the same thing with the first Alan Wake. You're going to see the shadow people. You're going to hit them with your flashlight to break the shadow. Then you're going to shoot them in the face with your gun. That's it, right? But it's just a matter of like how good the woods look. And you're walking through the woods and you're
Yeah.
like, I think there might be a shadow over there. But you have Saga's side where she's in Brightness Falls, which is where the first Alan Wake took place, and then you also play as Alan Wake, who is in the you could call it the Upside Down if you want, but he's in his own little prison that looks like New York City, and everywhere he goes, walking around New York City, there's shadows everywhere. Not all of them are going to attack you, but they're everywhere, and you may not see them, but you'll be walking and you'll know they're there because you'll hear a real quiet, like if they're near you, hear "wake," and you're like, "Stop, please stop!" But they're everywhere. But to me, the way they combine the two worlds and the fact that you can switch between the two whenever you want. You can play the missions chapters in whatever order you want to play them through. If you want to go through and play all the Alan Wake ones until you can't anymore, go for it. If you want to do one and switch back, you can. But what happens is you'll see something at the end of a chapter and then you'll play the other half of it and you'll be like, I remember this part, but now I'm seeing the other side of it. Super cool. They just do so many things that I don't know how they do it, but it works. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible game. It's another one that like, it's hard to talk about it until other people have played it because you can't really describe it. And I don't want to ruin anything because there's so many cool moments. There's just so much going on. Barry, I think you'll be fine. Honestly, I think
I think I will be too.
yeah. You just have to accept the uneasy feeling that it's always going to be there. They don't do. They're not big on jump scares. They do. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a quick flash of white light that they like to use a lot. That'll be like and jump, and and that's their equivalent of a jump scare. But they're not a Resident Evil like something's coming. It's just like is there something in there? Maybe, I don't know. I don't really want to go in there, but I have to. It's that feeling. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I think it's better than the first one, which I never thought I would say. It's probably top 10, if not top 5 all time for me.
All time.
All time. Yeah.
Craig's eating good this year. Craig is eating. Craig is
I know I have
good.
been, right? I've had a couple top 10 all times this year, have I not?
Yeah. You have. You have.
Been eating good.
Yeah. So, I mean, Barry, you could go right to this if you want. I would recommend playing through Alan Wake in Control.
You mentioned that, and I really do need to just like for the sake of it, like play through Control at least.
Control's great.
Control is great.
Yeah, because like I know I got through like a couple hours of Control and then I stopped, so I'll be restarting that from the beginning. And then I've been interested in Alan Wake for a while. To hear that it is a shorter experience is nice, and I am excited to jump in.
Yeah.
To Alan Wake 2. It's just funny how like my mind is like, man, I gotta play Control. When do I have time to play Control? Is now my my Achilles
first Alan Wake's probably 10 to 15. Control's probably what, 20?
Yeah, something like that.
If you don't do all the DLC, which you don't need to if you don't want to. The DLC though is the stuff that ties into Alan Wake.
Yeah, but I have the enhanced edition, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah. So if you're doing that, you might be looking at like 30, 35 for Control.
Which it just time to go back to not having a life.
There you go.
Yeah.
I had to just mention, because I think you'll find it comedic, Craig, because of where you are in terms of beating the game. I am still at the first boss.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for the level of what I consider difficulty at the beginning of the game.
It's tough.
Just because I'm not Alan Waked yet. When I say Alan Waked, I'm not flashlight shot prepared. So I got to get that rhythm down.
Yep.
You know, that almost double Dutch rhythm, because he gave me, I think he killed me twice last night. And that's when that was after 3 hours. I was loving the game. And I'm like, you know what? This is the universe telling me to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It can be tough.
But yeah. And, it was fun walking around. I had the feeling of uneasiness because you still have the safe moment,
right,
in the beginning, because they're still telling the story. But like right before the boss, that uneasy feeling, to put a correlation, is the feeling that I kind of had when I was playing Control.
Yep.
Control is all atmosphere, and the fact that you're walking in those office hallways and you got people that are like levitated and floating, and you don't know what's next down the next corridor. It's the same kind of deal that I think that Remedy does really well. But the Mind Place is fantastic. I have not done any Alan Wake part yet, so it's kind of nice that you could switch between them. But the Mind Place is dope. I enjoyed my stay. I wanted to go back after I left. It actually breaks up the tension too, so you could just kind of like, just for a second, say, well, let me put all these things together. And there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of content for you to put together out the gate. Randomly though, and Barry, when you started, please tell me you concur on this. They throw like 80 trophies at you in the beginning. I was just living my life. It was like, you started the game, trophy. And then it was like, you walk down the road, trophy. It was just like, I have 11 trophies and I've played the game for 3 hours. And it's not even it doesn't even feel like a significant chunk of the beginning that I've played.
And fair warning for everybody playing it. If you get to a moment where like, you're always going to have those moments you're like, and you're like, you need a minute to compose yourself. You can press select or back and go to the Mind Place, but that doesn't stop what's happening in the other world. So they will still attack you. So
nice.
just pause it if you need to. Cause I did that and I was like, oh, I'm still getting hit. Don't do that. Just pause the game. Cause that actually does stop everything.
Okay.
So don't go into the Mind Place until you're in a safe spot or under a light, or something like that in a safe house.
It'd be funny. It's funny to me that you probably were just like going to the Mind Place, you're adding up dots, and then you realize, oh crap, I'm getting hit.
I'm getting attacked.
What's going on?
But the Mind Place is so fortified. It doesn't even break you out of it.
And it's such a different part of the game. You're so used to like flashlight, shooting, flare, throw the flare down, shoot. And then it's like, all right, now go do this puzzle with facts from the case and make them all line up. It's like, it's a nice break. It really is. Okay. And then go and have like these conversations in your mind to get you more facts. It's great. Absolutely incredible.
And lastly, rewarding puzzles with rewarding rewards is what I was going to say. There was a puzzle I found in a house and I had so much fun doing it. There was a locked thing outside and I needed the house to show me the clues to get it. I got something great when I opened it. It was fun.
Those cases are everywhere in the world. There's tons of them, and they'll range from like go find a key to if a car has 4 wheels and a motorcycle has 2, and the automobile place has 400 cars. How many motorcycles are there? And that's the combination. That's like crazy. That kind of stuff.
I like that.
I'm not in high school anymore. Stop giving me math equations. But yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah,
go play it.
Definitely play it. I have strong first impressions. So.
Good. All right. So then let's get into movies and TV shows this week. For me, it is HBO Max's Survivor Reign with 6 episodes out right now.
Survivor Reign? I don't even know what that is.
Just wait till I get into it.
All right. I watched the Friday Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And I also watched, since it's spooky month, The Exorcist Believer.
I can't wait for your take on both of those, especially Five Guys at Friday Night
Stop.
Freddy's.
I was wondering, like, okay, is he going to say it right this time? Is it wrong? He's doing it on purpose now.
I'm gonna purposefully say it wrong for the rest of my life.
Oh my
Five
god.
Guys and Freddy at night. I don't know.
Oh.
Um, I didn't get a lot done because of Spider-Man. If you want my take on Zom 100, because I caught up on that, and I know there's still only one episode left, but like that would be the only thing that I can contribute that's actually new would be Zom 100 catching up on those episodes.
We'll wait till Zom 100 is done, just because of all the
Okay.
delays that have been going on. It's nuts with
Most
that
def.
series, how many delays it's gone through.
Okay. All right, take it away, guys.
Yeah, what is this show you're talking about?
All right, HBO Survivor Reign. Never before have I just like
Reign.
gone on to like a streaming show like HBO Max and just went, "Oh, this looks cool. I'll watch it." I have never been so enamored by a sci-fi world in my life.
Okay.
It's one of those analogies where it's like I'm watching a train wreck, and this is also a bad analogy, but just hear me out. It's like watching a train wreck, like you just can't look away, but it's not bad like a train wreck. This is a sci-fi world where like you question everything that's going on. Like I am discovering more about the world. If I have to make a comparison, I'd make it to Raised by Wolves, kind of like where that series is constantly having you like second guess what's going on or what's happening. Survivor Reign has 6 episodes out, 30 minutes. Trust me, you can breeze right through it. It is by far one of the most enamoring sci-fi worlds I've ever witnessed. Adult animated as well. What it is Demeter, a ship called the Demeter, which is in charge of transporting cargo and also starting a new life, gets into a huge accident. And it's the survivors are on the planet they were supposed to land on without all of their gear. So it jumps you right into it. Within the first 15 seconds of watching the show, you know exactly like what's going on and what to expect from these characters. I just think honestly, like it's the world that I'm enamored by, but also these characters that you continue to learn more about as we go on. It is. I don't want to spoil it for people because part of this show is the accidental like portion of it where it's learning about what's going on in the world, how it's changing everybody, and how they learn to adapt to the world. Like you think one thing's coming and then it's this from far left of right field situation that you never like saw coming. Like it keeps me guessing, which is rare in today's kind of world of showbiz where you can kind of see what's coming on and what's going to happen. I can't guess what happens in this show next. I can't. And I think that's also why I'm so enamored by it. I can't recommend it enough. If you're a sci-fi fan, it is, especially after the last episode. I have no idea. It's like I've got no idea what's going on, and I need to know more. It piques my curiosity to no extent.
I'm trying to find it. Is this it?
Yes, that is. Yep.
Scavenger's Reign?
Oh wait, Scavenger's Reign?
That's why I couldn't find it. And this says Scavenger's Reign.
Come on, man! I thought I looked at this. Oh darn it! Yeah. Nope,
okay.
It's
well, no, that's good because I was like, this looks interesting. I hope this is what it is.
Yeah, it's Scavenger's Reign. My apologies, everyone.
I'm gonna check that out for sure.
I'm sorry with the creators here. I should have known better. This is but it's just like there are some voice casts in here that people I think will recognize. Like Bob Stevenson is in this, and I recognize him from other things.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, no, I can't express enough how it's one of these things where it's so random. Like there is one clip from the first episode that kind of went viral on TikTok. That happens within the first 3 minutes of the episode, and I think you're gonna know within the first 10 minutes if you're gonna like this series or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
But I can't recommend it enough because of how interested I am in it.
I'm gonna check it out for sure. It looks interesting. Could
It's
this be my
very
new animated show?
it's very easy to
Ooh.
watch. It is so easy. It's like only 24 minutes an episode with 6 episodes out right now, coming out weekly. I can't recommend it enough.
And
I
what's the
really
name one
can't.
more time?
Scavenger's Reign, not
Scavengers.
Survivor.
Scavengers Reign.
Scavenger's Reign. It is Scavenger's Reign.
Scavengers Reign, everybody.
I hope they win an award for this. I haven't been this enamored. Like since Raised by Wolves, have I not like Raised by Wolves kept me guessing because again, it's a really good sci-fi world. Wherein it, but that's been canceled and I haven't seen it in a while. Whereas this has peaked that same sort of like a like give me more kind of feel for me.
Fair.
Scavenger's Reign, watch it.
Scavengers Reign.
Scavengers Reigns.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm gonna say it correctly. This one, so I was trying to watch it objectively. One, as somebody who knows, I guess, the bare minimum to get by on Five Nights at Freddy's. If you'd ask my daughter, the movie's great. If I'm objectively looking at it as just a straight horror movie, I would say it's all right.
Okay.
I think it's more tied to like if you are in that world and you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, you're gonna be like, oh my god, look at that! Oh my god, look at that! Look, that's from the game. And like I saw some of that stuff in there that I could recognize. Be like, oh, there's the control room. There's the monitors. Oh, he's got the door open. You should probably shut that and also watch the vent. Like that kind of stuff's in there. But I think looking at it objectively as just a straight horror movie, I've seen better. The acting's and like it's a PG-13 horror movie, so you're not going to see a whole lot. I did see a girl get cut in half. That I was not expecting
Sick.
that in a PG-13 movie, but I did see that. It's definitely, you could tell that they're like, because I believe it's Blumhouse. You could tell they were like, we need to make a horror movie that horror people will like, but also appeals to all the younger generation who love Five Nights at Freddy's. And I think looking at it that way, I think they did a pretty good job. They're set up to make a whole bunch of these if they want to. And I'm sure they will, because it seems like they're just printing money at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're asking me, I would rather watch Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage, because I've loved that movie to death. And I think that's a better horror movie with animatronics. But this is okay. I think it's like a watch once. I don't need to watch it again. Somebody like you, Craig, if you have no attachment to Five Nights at Freddy's, you'll probably watch it and be like, you know what I mean? Just like, it was okay. Whereas somebody like my daughter is like, oh my God, this is amazing. And she was like, hey, did you see that person? They're a YouTuber. I don't know who that person is. But apparently there's multiple YouTubers in this movie that I've never seen before. But I'm not hip to the younger generation YouTube culture. She tries to teach me all the time. And I'm like, I don't know who that person is, but okay, cool.
I don't know who that person is.
I feel old when I say that, but I am old, so it's fine. Exorcist Believer. I watched that one as well. This one's interesting. I love the original Exorcist.
Yeah,
classic. And I think that they did a pretty good job with this one. We're going with 2 girls that are possessed instead of 1. Double the fun. If you ask, my wife watched it with me. If you ask her, The Exorcist terrorized her as a child, and she was not having fun watching this movie. It's what you expect, right? It does have a long setup. I think it's about 2 hours, and I want to say the first hour is all setup till you get to them actually being possessed. And I would say that the stuff you want from an Exorcist movie is here. The fighting with, I can't even say the priest. They change it because it's not just a priest now. They bring in like all these different genres of religion to combat these demons. So you have a priest, you have a pastor, you have someone who's doing.
So you're telling me this is the Avengers?
Yes,
of religion is what
it
we
is.
have going on
It
with this
is.
one.
You literally have a priest, a pastor, a nun. I don't remember what the other lady is doing, but she's doing like plant-based stuff, spiritual stuff. I don't know what you would call that. But that's in there as well, and they all kind of combine. It's very interesting in this day and age that they're kind of like putting it out there. They're like, oh no, all these religions are like, we need to come together to combat these demons because they're so powerful. It's kind of cool, right? To be like, oh, that's an interesting take to not just have a priest. um I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you would expect from the original in here. There's the back and forth between the people performing the exorcism and the demons, kind of taunting them, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of imagery that's gross and cool
Do we
at the
get
same time.
do we get a 360 head turn?
No.
Okay.
Wait, we do, but it's not from who you expect. I'll say
Ooh.
that.
Okay. Okay.
I had
Okay.
to think. You reminded me of something that completely caught me off guard when I was watching. I literally went, "Oh!" when it happened. I did not see that coming. Um, I think it's a passable movie. It's not going to win any awards, but I enjoyed it. It's not as good as the original, but nothing's going to be. And yeah, I think it's a good spooky movie to watch. Maybe not on Halloween because I think you save your best movies for Halloween. But
That's literally why we haven't seen the Freddie movie.
you're
Or
not going to watch that on Halloween, are you? That's going
no.
to ruin your Halloween.
The only reason we haven't seen that movie is because we have like the cream of the crop
Yeah,
that popped up between the 27th and tomorrow, which would be Halloween. So
sure.
I
Yeah,
feel like
but
I'll be
it's
absolved
definitely
of that.
it's
Go ahead.
definitely worth a watch. Definitely check it out if you're into horror movies. It'll make you feel uneasy, which is what you want. But yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
That's it.
Craig, I thought you were gonna say something. You look like you wanted to say something
I
else.
I wanted to suggest like a closing thing for you, which is like speaking of feeling uneasy. That's it for today's podcast.
We're we've been uneasy this entire time, so
All
we're
I ask
deferring.
for both of you, since Craig, you're already playing Alan Wake, and Barry, when you start playing Alan Wake 2, when they first start mentioning Cynthia, just go ahead and text me so I know you're there.
Okay.
All right,
Because
cool with
you're
that.
going to
I'm
hear them
now
talking
worried.
about Cynthia, and you're going to be like, oh no.
I'm now worried about the Cynthia part. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so speaking of, no, not speaking of Cynthia, I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. We're going to go ahead and end it here. I appreciate everybody for listening. If you are listening on a podcast listening platform, please make sure to share it, review it, like it like it, share it with a friend if you feel so inclined. When you're on YouTube as well, thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting to let us know, whether we got something wrong or whether I'm overhyping Survivor Reign. Yeah, Survivor Reign is what I'm overhyping. Doing this on
Scavenger's
purpose.
Reign.
I know.
Scavengers.
I'm doing it on purpose
Yeah,
this time.
yeah.
Kind of like with five mornings at
5.
Bartholomew's.
Well done. I like
Thanks.
that.
I tried.
Well
But
done,
thank
good
you
sir.
everybody for listening. Hopefully these last few laughs lift up your week, and we hope you enjoy your week and have a good day as well. Bye.
See ya.
Bye guys.